I know you probably haven't been out in the field with them yet today, but are you confident the players will have the energy needed after the midweek game against Spurs?
Yeah, some will. Some may just need a breather, but like I say, you're quite right. We've got to get out on the training ground today and have a look. And obviously, we only played on Wednesday evening, so just really just over a day recovery. So it'll be sort of, looking at that, looking how people, seeing how people are feeling, and looking and going from there, really.
Yeah. Against Tottenham and against Watford, you played a lot of good attacking football and you created a lot of chances. That must be something you're hoping to build on.
Well, that's part of what we want to do. That's been part of our DNA for years now, and don't want that to change. I think really you want to be. It's an entertainment business. At the end of the day, it's a results business, but it's an entertainment business, and you've got to try and entertain people, but also have a way of playing that the players are excited to play in and be a part of, and an understanding in. But you're right. Over the course of the season so far, we've had some really decent bits of football, but certainly the last two games have been much better in terms of the overall product.
And some of the chances that didn't lead to goals against Spurs seem to me because you get less time against the Premier League team. I think Angie Wright's one defender comes across and blocks, so there was a Rudoni one as well that was blocked. Is that part of what it was on Wednesday, just the fact that you have less time against a Premier League opponent?
Well, I think sometimes all the time, you've got to, whatever's presented in front of you, you've got to assess it really quickly. You've got to have an understanding or an idea of how you want to go about it, how you're going to execute the next action. There are so many things in a really, finite or infinitesimal sort of amount of time. That many thoughts go through your head. And that then becomes, over time, it becomes part of your muscle memory. It becomes part of what you've done and how you've trained. And so if somebody's in front of you, you've got to maybe move the ball a little bit more, whether that's for yourself, whether that's for somebody else. You've got to move that, and so you talk about give and goes, create space for each other, for yourself, and maybe unselfish runs to create space for somebody on the ball or just coming in to arrive. And that, people now talk about the rotations and the movements and the speed of the movements. The speed of the thought is really important, and there are a lot of things that go into it, and that is something that we continually talk about and work on, and it's that's why you talk about it's a work in progress, because the new players arriving, had different sort of experiences, but the way that we want to play, we've always asked them to ask a lot of questions, and then obviously you've got to try and come up against slightly different or clearly different opposition, different problems to solve in every game. But I've got to say that there are quite a lot of teams that are playing similarly. It's starting to evolve into more like a chess game, and moving the pieces on the board is. If you move one and you move at the wrong time, then they can play through you, and then the next stage comes, and so there's a lot more tactical planning and thoughts go into the preparation, but also during the game it moves that quickly. They've got a split second to think about it, to assess it, and to execute any given sort of action.
Well, on the tactical side, Tom cleverly said you served them a curveball before Watford because the team you named couldn't be sure what formation you were playing. Must be quite nice to have that. And they did it to Wolves, of course, last season as well. So nice options to have, I guess.
I think you can go in with an idea against a team, and you may not know that something has happened, or they've had an illness or an injury, and at this time of year you're looking at illnesses coming into play, and injuries are always a factor for teams, and that changes the dynamic of a team. So each individual piece just changes the dynamic slightly, so you can prepare as much as you want to, and if something happens that you weren't necessarily expecting, then it can throw a little bit of a curveball in, because, well, for obvious reasons, players are different, you know, and they perform differently on the pitch. So I think that, you know, for us, you have to concentrate on yourself and what you're about, and if there are different things happening on the field, then you've got to be able to adjust to that at any given moment. But that's the modern game.
We spoke to Brandon Thomas and Saturday after the game, got the goal. Hasn't started the championship yet. It's come on every game. It's taken a little bit of getting used to, because he's used to starting, and also played a slightly unfamiliar role against Tottenham. How do you feel he's sort of coping with what you're asking of him? He's
a brilliant person, you know. Got a fun nature, a serious nature, but fun. Wants to do well, serious about improvement and improving, and he's just great to have around. That's the experience that we've got so far, and I don't see that diminishing any time soon. And I think he's got a goal, so that is a really good start for him. And obviously he scored prior to that with a deflected effort that went over the goalkeeper's head, but it was his goal nonetheless. But the goal that he scored the other night was a really well-worked goal, well moved, and he can score from anywhere on the pitch, so, you know, that doesn't necessarily make any difference. We've got good players, you know, we've got good players in the front end, and everybody has to be on the game. And that should be a good thing, because if everybody's striving to play, you know, everybody talks about wanting to play, they've got to go and prove it every day in training, and then they've got to go and prove it to stay in the team and drag each other along, and that should then give you an improvement. Again, it's not an exact science, that, because you've got sometimes players can't handle it, they can't cope. You know, they want to be playing week in, week out, but I think that there are that many games in a season now that, you know, players need to have a bit of a breather during the games, and I think you can see that's being borne out in the press with high-profile players coming out and saying they're playing too many games, and, you know, there is an argument for that.
Swansea, you haven't got the best of records against them. Do you sort of believe in bogey teams, or is it you just start afresh each time?
Each game is different. I mean, you'll talk about Preston, you know, you talk about Norwich, you talk about Swansea City, and, you know, that they're a good team. They're all good teams, to be fair, but no, I don't believe in that. I think it's what you do on the day and how you go about things, and I think that can, if you talk about bogey teams and things like that, it can get into people's heads that then, you know, you get a self-fulfilling prophecy. So it's about what you do on the day. It's about how you can go and affect the game and do that in a positive way. And we certainly did that against Spurs on Wednesday. We've just got to try and take that mindset into the rest of the games that we have this season. Albeit a long season, things will evolve, things will change. There'll be ups and downs as usual, but, you know, there is a standard there. There is a level that we've got to. We've got to try and keep pushing the boundaries.
Nice to have a 3 o'clock kick-off on Saturday afternoon at home.
It's unusual, isn't it? It's nice. It's good to be back, but playing in front of our own supporters again after Wednesday evening, and I think that the supporters went away regardless of the result. I think they went away with an idea that we'd played pretty well, and whilst it was disappointing not to get the positive result, it really was, you know, from our point of view, that's the first thing you think. But really, on reflection, pretty quickly after it, you've done well against a side that is a really, I mean, it's a top 6 team. They're a top 6 team, and they play like that. And I think that the nature of it is, I mean, you look at the pressure that's on their manager Ange at the moment, or seemingly from outside pressures, and it seems ridiculous because of the way that they're going about the job. And sport is sport. It's really unpredictable, and the only thing that you can predict is that, you know, you're going to have ups and downs, but as long as you've got a method and a way of working, then eventually it comes good. But obviously they're in a different in a different league, different sphere really, and you're looking at different demands on that team. New stadium built, training ground's incredible. They went back apparently to the training ground hotel where they could stay overnight. So, you know, the levels are totally different, but it's, you know, it's brilliant because, you know, that's the way that you have to do things to prepare properly. But yeah, like I say, different world that, but that's the world that we're trying to work towards, playing in, week out, and playing against that opposition week in, week out. Albeit there was quite a few changes in their side, and their team that played Arsenal on the Sunday was different, but it was, you know, they're outstanding players.
Ben Chief, you said you had a nice pack after the game. What's the latest things to go through, all right?
He didn't train yesterday, so we will again. I'm waiting for them to come in. They should be arriving now, and once they've had the usual interventions and done the pre-ab and things like that, we should know a little bit more. But I've got to see everybody in training, who trains, who doesn't train, and then make decisions from there.
And just Tats obviously was on the bench. Is he ready?
He still complains of a little bit of pain, which is why I was sort of reluctant to just throw him in on Wednesday. There's another couple of days. He trained yesterday, and each day that goes by he's looking more and more like himself. And I think people forget his family have come over now, but he was sort of on his own here for a while, and that can be really difficult, you know. So whilst he's in here, he's got people around him, but you could sort of see that he was missing family, and the fact that they're really, really important to have around, because it sort of gives you that equilibrium and that network around you that you really miss if it's not there. So, you know, there are these things that sort of go under the or by the wayside really for people they don't see, but it's certainly a consideration. And the fact that he was out for a good period of last season with a back injury meant that, you know, it's taken him a little bit of time to get back to where he will be. But there are signs that he's sort of feeling more confident, looking more confident, and you just look at the conviction and when they did their actions, when they're doing things and committing to things, and that commitment starts to sort of show again. He's getting closer all the time.
Yeah, very much. Really happy being here. Football wise, on and off the pitch, great bunch of boys. So enjoying life in Coventry.
Yeah, because you're one of the new players. As a group, you settling in, do you think, as a new group?
Yeah, it's been as easy as it could be settling in. Everyone here, from staff to players, been brilliant. So it felt like I just come in and feels like home already. So yeah, really good.
And playing against Spurs, obviously it was disappointing in the end, but did you enjoy the game for the most part?
Yeah, no, it was well. Yeah, for the whole time I was on, I enjoyed it. Felt we completed the game plan like just how we set out to do, and we caused them many problems and frustrated them, and it's a shame we just dipped in concentration for the last 5 minutes when we could have seen out the game much better. But yeah, we just got to learn from that. Shame we're not in the next round, but so it's a lot of positives to take from it, and we'll look into that.
You came close to scoring a couple of times?
Yeah, it's almost like sometimes when you hit them too cleanly, you almost need a miss hit to go in. But yeah, I think the one round the back post, and I caught it nice on the half volley, was going in the bottom corner, but they got a good block on it. The one early on, forced to save. A few chances, but I'm just working on getting in the right areas. So if I'm getting the chances, I'm happy, because eventually the goals will come. Just keep getting in the right areas.
And the set pieces, and he scored from one against Watford from the corner. Obviously you work on them. Did it take a while, because you're new, for the players also to be on your same wavelength when it comes to the set plays?
Yeah, I think we're just getting there a little bit now. Obviously, I have like a set like kind of routine like when I do my corners and stuff. So we did actually do it in training a bit, like to get the timing right, because I take my time to set up myself and everything. So the boys don't go in too early and etc. So yeah, it takes a bit of time, but we're getting used to it now, and yeah, it's good that we scored from one at Watford last weekend. So hopefully another one tomorrow.
When you make a signal from the corner, it always looks to me as if it's the same signal every time. Is it a bit more subtle than that?
Yeah, to be fair, like yeah, don't want to give away too many tricks and whatever, but sometimes it's just a signal to let them know I'm ready and about to take it, so get moving. But yeah, other times maybe not.
And you settled in pretty much for the number 10 role. I know you can play sort of all over the midfield. Are you enjoying the particular role you've been given?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Being a bit higher up and trying to affect the game higher up, closer to the striker. It's good, but still have the license to come back in and link play as well. Just working on like that patience when I'm in the 10, so for the boys to build up the play at the back. I know sometimes I think I want to get involved and can drop too deep sometimes when we need someone in the pocket. So I'm just working on that patience for the boys to work the ball themselves and then get it into the more dangerous areas for me to create and score goals. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. Like you said, I can play all the midfield roles and comfortable in any. But no, yeah, I'm really enjoying how it's gone so far.
And Swansea this weekend, I mean, it's a team who plays some good football. We've just got the one win in the Championship so far. I mean, are the players feeling sort of anxiety to get that next win?
No, I don't think so. I think we're more like, obviously everyone wants to win. We want to win every game. We're more like just working on us as a performance-wise element, if you know what I mean. Like, if we better our performance every week, we know the wins will come. Like, if you look at our squad, like the quality is there. Like, there's no doubt to score goals and at the back. So we have no doubt we're gonna win games. It's just about working on how we can bring that out of us in a performance-wise. So yeah.
And you're obviously getting used to 12:30 start, but the fact this is a traditional 3 o'clock, is that nice?
Yeah, you know what, I was thinking that this morning when I woke up, I was thinking, I'm not sure I've had a 3 o'clock at home just yet, so it's going to be a bit of a different prep, but no, it'd be nice to have a traditional 3 o'clock, what you're normally used to, but yeah, I can't wait for the game.
A big crowd, has ready for you building up a nice relationship with the fans?
Yeah, no, the fans are brilliant, home and away, like, we fill out our stadium, fill out everyone else's stadium. Always the noisiest. They're brilliant fans to play in front of, and hopefully we can get them the win they want tomorrow.